everybody. My name is Paul Salentis. I'm the CEO of 24 Haymarket. We are a venture capital firm focused on early stage growth capital and venture capital investments in the UK, predominantly at the Series A stage. We have been operating for the past 6 years and have approximately $120 million deployed in about 50 promising growing businesses. Digital healthcare has always been a core area of focus for us for the past several years, and we invest across the diagnostic, medical device, therapeutic, and services spectrum, with roughly a quarter of our portfolio in these segments, and that continues to grow over the last 12 months. During the course of this afternoon, you'll hear from 10 innovative companies across the healthcare spectrum. The session we split into two 45-minute pitch sessions with 5 companies in each slot. Each company will have 5 minutes to present their pitch, at which point we'll open up to Q&A from panel members. With that brief introduction, I'd like to invite the first presenter from Drill Surgeries into the room to begin his presentation.
Thanks a lot, Paul, for the introduction. And to start, let me start by sharing my screen. And I believe you can all see the screen now. Is that right?
That's correct. There you go.
Well, hello, and welcome to Drill Surgeries Limited, a startup working to improve healthcare through technology. And to do so, we move one step at a time. First, focusing on a common type of surgery, intramedullary nailing surgeries, aimed at assisting the welding of broken bones in femur, tibia, or humerus. This surgery is performed over 200 times a year per hospital in the UK, and so around the world. In this surgery, an intramedullary nail is inserted inside the patient's bone to assist on the welding. Now, the issue here is that the current method relies heavily on X-rays, and there is an excess of radiation being shot at both patients and surgeons. Now, the technique used commonly is a trial and error method, which proves to be inaccurate and time-consuming, meaning there are risks derived from blood loss and long-action anesthetics. And all of this is happening right now in a country spending close to £50 million a year in these surgeries alone, around £6,000 per patient, where most of the cost comes from room charges, since patients need to spend around 10 to 15 days at hospitals post-operation. Our solution, though, already shows potential to reduce hospital admission, as it ensures fewer risks during the operation. And now, if this is true for the UK, and our research goes further than just this country, it is also true for our target market, every hospital in the world, because we all know someone, somewhere, who broke their arm or their leg at some point in their lives. In over 2 years of research and development, we have seen and spoken with dozens of doctors from Spain, the UK, Switzerland, Australia, etc., that keep preferring the freehand, the trial and error techniques on these surgeries rather than relying on mechanical or electromagnetic guiding systems offered by competitors, which, by the professionals, are coined as inaccurate. All of them, though, showed an inclination to welcome a new medical device for this surgery. And that is what Drill Surgeries provides, a solution built with the constant input from surgeons and for surgeons. Making use of the latest technologies, our prototype implements augmented reality and tracking algorithms, offering real-time 360 degrees guidance without the need of radiation in the most complex steps of the surgery. reducing then operating time and risks caused by the more traditional approach. And we are not just offering safer and faster surgeries, but also with fewer risks. Patients stay less time in hospitals, and hence we can also reduce cost per patient, which at 200 surgeries per hospital per year amounts to a substantial number. The team making this happen today includes myself, starting the project when I was heavily involved in world-class physics research in Switzerland, a chief medical officer that has performed this surgery for over 10 years, and Henry, an aerospace engineer that led the development of the fully working prototype that is already showcasing promising results. In the past 2 years, we have received support for the value of over £30,000 from several organizations and institutions participating in incubators and competitions that include the Santander X Entrepreneur of the Year Awards, where I will personally be speaking at Wembley Stadium in October. And we are right now in a position where we are looking to raise our first formal round of investment for £150,000 to grow our team, improve the software side of the prototype to satisfy the levels of accuracy we strive for, and start testing the device by quarter 2021 or the first quarter of 2022 on bodies at hospitals we are already in conversations with. Thank you for your time. Thanks.
Thank you, Moises, for that great presentation. Would like now to turn to the other panelists and investor panelists for a few minutes of Q&A. I'll maybe open the floor up to anybody who wants to start with a question. Yes, Caroline.
Hi, Caroline from the EIT Health Investor Network. My question to you is, why are you not raising more? Because 150,000 will not take you very far, will it?
No, of course not. That's why I like to take things one step at a time. That's one of the things we believe the most in our startup, in Drell Surgeries. We move one step at a time so that we keep moving forward but secure. With the first investment of £150,000, we are only looking to satisfy the initial 6 to 8 months of the project, as per the situation in which we are right now after more than 2 years working on this. Post these first 6 to 8 months working together and seeing the results that this initial investment has created, we then expect to keep working together to raise the following round for a much substantial amount.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caroline.
Yes, Chris.
Hi there. Chris Wheatcroft from the Ascension Life Fund. Just a quick question on the regulatory pathway. What does that look like? Obviously, you're early on, but can you just give us a brief overview on what that looks like?
Excuse me, Chris. Could you repeat the initial part of the question? Sorry.
Sorry, the regulatory pathway. So
yeah.
What kind of regulation do you need in order to commercialize this?
Definitely. So one of the things that we've been really interested about is that we want to make this device the less invasive possible, meaning that when we aim to go for a European certification or FDA certification, instead of having to go for an invasive type of device to register, meaning that it's this device that touches the human body and impacts the human body in a considerable way. The regulatory process for this could take around 18 months and a more substantial amount. Now, what we've been working for, and that's why we surround ourselves with tens of surgeons and scientists and engineers, is that with the augmented reality and tracking algorithms side of the software, plus the hardware part of the software that aerospace engineers and myself, etc., are working on. We can provide directions directly to the surgeons through visual, haptic, sound, feedback, etc. And the surgeon will not see this device touch the human body in a moment. Now, this gives us a position in which our regulatory processes will be sped up, will take less cost in terms of money and in terms of time. And that's the first approach we've taken towards the regulatory processes.
Great.
Thank you.
I think we have time for one more question. Dan?
Please.
Hi. So what kind of data does your machine learning AI kind of algorithm need? What is the threshold of data for you to be able to perform sort of accurate surgeries? Or is that judged on, I guess, like an in-case basis when surgeons are actually using it? Or are you acquiring any data to help you make those decisions?
Definitely. So in terms of data, it's year we see new regulations coming around, and if we have to rely on data, there might be a point, especially in augmented reality, where most of our data comes from images. We might see ourselves struggle to keep growing and expanding. The beauty of augmented reality, and especially the tracking algorithms, the mathematics behind this that we work on, is that we are capable of simply identifying the equipment that the surgeons use, and then use the public data that's not private or personal to then recreate our models with the accuracy that we need to perform the surgery. This means that all the data that we need is publicly available, and it's product related, as it could be for an intramedullary nail like this one. And we do not need to rely on private data or approvals from patients or doctors.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you. I think we're out of time for this session, but thank you, Moises, for that great presentation and for your answers to the questions. I think we're going to move on to the next presentation, which is from Blum Health.
Yeah, cool. Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Hi.
Awesome. So let me just share my presentation for you. In fact, I need to screen share first. Sorry? Yeah. No, I'm just sharing my screen. Can you see that? Can you see the screen?
Not yet.
1 second. Here we go. My presentation?
We can see the presentation now, yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you for having me. Cool. I'll get straight into it. So, amid the COVID-19 pandemic, there's never been a better time for clinical innovation, yet the barriers still remain. Grant funding is scarce and thus difficult to win, techie co-founders and few are far between, and procurement sits at the summit of mountains. We are Bloom Health, and we are here to change that. I'm Dr. Mike Watts, a medical doctor turned clinical entrepreneur and innovator. And as a trio startup with my tech co-founders feeling the idea to reality struggle, we turned our focus to supporting SMEs launching their products and large organizations transforming to their clicks and mortar businesses, finally filling the world with high quality, high impact software solutions. By turning our focus away from a single product that was very much a non-priority during COVID and meeting needs that healthcare organizations required to keep providing value to their patients, we were able to ideate, build, and sell 2 COVID products within 6 months of inception, which got us thinking. If we nurture collaborations and we're flexible to the needs of the client, supporting them from an idea to reality, and enabling their projects through the barriers that I've mentioned previously, then this is how we can meet our desire to build software that's 3 things: patient-centric, scalable, and impactful. Our business model is one of simplicity and flexibility, managing each of our projects in isolation, with dedicated teams nurturing our collaborations based on needs. We were only able to do this because of our team. We realized that by investing in our key asset, we could not only work on our own innovations, but provide close to home support to organizations at the same time. We have access to a talent pool of developers with over 100 years of experience, and by keeping our UK-based workforce at over 50% software engineers, we aim to always stay ahead of the curve when considering resource. Tie that in with our experience within the healthcare system, and the value that you can build with such a team is truly astounding. Collaborators often come to us telling us what they and their users want. We then get our team of designers and innovators to deep dive into their idea to realize what they and their users need. By using research-driven design making and reusable design strategies, we can iterate with our collaborators to ensure that they build in the most efficient but most impactful way. And finally, this is where the magic happens. Our secret source software architecture allows us to take the pyramid approach, giving collaborators a version of their software which is robust and secure, but in a timescale that is highly competitive. Then we provide a support system to scale the service based on the needs of each collaborator. So now you know what's important to us. Let's focus what's important to you, the patient. We couldn't do what we do without practicing what we preach. So in our own Bloom lab, you'll see patient-centric, scalable, and impactful software solutions. This project took a piece of research from the University of Liverpool, whereby corneal topography should no longer require a specialist and a £50,000 piece of kit. Yes, with our software and the university's smart device, we were able to, with our software and the university's smart device, anyone can now read the surface of an eye with a smartphone, allowing rural parts of India and Nepal to access the care they deserve. And this is currently in clinical trial phase. Where Bloom values are missing, we fill them. Whether it be a thought leader with a solution for an unmet need or a corporate organization requiring digital transformation, we mold to the needs of our collaborators. Here is our most recent collaboration with AgilePath, who, with our support, are going to revolutionize the way your pathology requests and tests are processed. Patient-centric, scalable, impactful. Finally, having felt the startup struggle ourselves, we could not ignore the need for truly pro bono support in medtech. We decided to set up a Bloom propagator in March of this year, whereby 3 solo entrepreneurs joined us to go through the design phase of their solution, taking them to a point where they could better define the opportunity to funders or better define the benefit to patients through visual designs and prototyping. We hope this runs. We hope to run this again in the coming months, and you can register your interest with us at any time. So essentially, Bloom is an offspring of an innovation hub, a software development company, and a medtech accelerator. And as we continue to grow, we hope that we can support those around us to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike, for that. I think before I open up to questions, I might just ask. I think Perea, Giacomo, there's a bit of background noise. Perhaps if one of you guys can just go on mute.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm using Giacomo's computer. I think there's 2 rooms open, so I could hear other people. Apologies.
Okay, great. Well, I suggest, Mike, you stop sharing right now, and then we'll go into the into the Q&A.
Thank you. Oh,
there we go. Okay.
Is that off?
Yeah, that's off. Thank you, Mike. So we'll open up as we did in the last session. We'll open up for any Q&A. Probably easiest if you stick your hand up. So Dan, I think you were first there.
Hi there. Sorry, the great presentation. I was just wondering, so getting down to the brass tacks of it. So, just from my understanding, the software itself is a modular software that can be used for a range of medical applications. Is that correct?
No, everything's bespoke to the user and the collaborator. So we build individual products. So yeah, there's not a one for all. It's everything is built to the needs of the collaborator, or if we find an innovation, we'll build that from scratch. So yeah, we've got a fair bit of resource. I think it was in there. So yeah, we've got a team of 8 developers at the moment. So we have the resource to be able to run multiple projects in parallel through that siloed approach that you saw in our business model.
Okay, thanks.
No problems.
Caroline, I think you were going to ask a question.
Yes, thank you for the presentation. I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what you're selling and to whom. Who are your clients? And what kind of unmet medical need are you answering with your solution?
Okay, so I mean, the unmet medical need is that there's still a lot of barriers that persist within startups and SMEs. So actually, having an idea is one thing, but actually there's so many barriers. Where do we get funding? Where do we get a team from? So we're breaking down those barriers, supplying that team, supplying that opportunity to actually get off the ground and take your idea from an idea to reality. So our customers are anyone and everyone that has an idea. We'll always have that conversation and explore that further and look at what need they are meeting. So we are essentially a software development company, but we also innovate ourselves, The important part is we collaborate, and we collaborate flexibly, and I think that's the key. That's our USP, is that we mold to the needs of the person needing the software. It can be a solo entrepreneur with a great idea. It can be a large organization that's needing to go through digital transformation during COVID and thereafter. Really, we are, but we specialize in medtech because of that clinician at the core approach that we take. And so that's our offering, really, is that we are here to build tech and secure high impact software.
Thank you.
I think maybe one for me, if I can, Mike, and building on the question that Dan was asking, which is, where you see the business long term, because it sounds like you're starting out being a bespoke sort of outsourced designer of high level technology that's owned by your customers at the end of the day. And whether there's scope to use all the sort of know-how and IP that you're creating through those engagements to, own your own software that you in future can license out, which is, I think, from an investor point of view, and some others may echo that, is where you really sort of see the value created in these type of businesses, rather than working on an outsourced basis as you are, to get it up and running.
No, absolutely. It's a question that we often get asked, because at some point in time there will be a transition from supporting organizations to actually creating our own innovation. We've already started doing that. You've seen the work that we've done with the University of Liverpool, and if you want to hear more information around that and the opportunities there, then I'd be more than happy to have a meeting with everyone offline. We're always innovating. We've got another idea in the pipeline that should be coming out in the Northwest again soon. So really it's about not spreading ourselves too thinly, providing that support to other organizations, but at the same time focusing on our own innovations, because we have lots of ideas internally. We encourage our developers to also go away and ideate and innovate as well. So we recognize that requirement, absolutely. It's just about timing, and it's about making sure that we can provide a lot of value to our collaborators, as well as producing our own value. So yeah, we're totally aware of that. But ultimately, the end goal is to have provided a load of value through our collaborators, but also have something to call our own as well, which we are in the process of doing as well.
Great, thank you, Mike. I think we're out of time for this one, so we'll move on to the next presenter, which is Needle Smart. So we can invite them into the room.
Brilliant, thank you. Oh, hi guys. So I can't see anyone's faces at the moment. So I'm Cliff Kirby. I'm the chief exec and founder of Needle Smart. I'm just going to spend a few minutes talking through the product solutions that we have, and then hopefully open the floor to some questions. So what we are essentially is a closed loop data governance system, which is a unique combination of hardware and software, which allows us to title ourselves as smart medtech. So essentially what we do as a business is we gather clinical data at the interface, and then we digitize at the point of the interface as we dispose or destroy the needle in the room. So at the moment they remove the sharps risk, we transmit the data that we've gathered. And I'll talk through some working examples of that downstream, if you will. So as a system, why do we exist? We exist very simply because gathering medical records, as I'm sure many of us have witnessed with the vaccination campaigns, is it's quite a laborious process, huge amount of either manual input or digital input via mouse clicks or keyboard entry. We've set off on a journey which is to try and minimize that. So our ideal is that the clinician has the ability to log into a system, identify the individual, check their credentials, make sure they are who they say they are, and that they are okay to have whatever procedure that might be. And then we bring the person together with the treatment pathway. So if we use vaccination as our example, we bring the person and the vaccination together. The data is transferred to its next location. We've tried to build this around a very simple process and make it very easy to use, very simple to adopt, because really it's about end user engagement. And then we create an agnostic data record, which means it will sit over the top and work with any platform. So one singular record could be to a patient's record, it could go to, their medical record, it could go to a digital vaccination card or passbook. I'll come on to supply chain in a moment, but we have an ability to control the consumable supply chain. And then, of course, we move into what benefits we are generating in the physical world. And that is, we are removing the risk of a post-procedural needle stick injury. As a direct result of doing that, we're removing some physician burnout. We are reducing the immediate burden on sharps disposal and waste management costs, and I'll come more to that in a moment, which has an overbearing effect on the carbon footprint. So I'll talk about sustainability now. The product itself that we have, a little bit more about it further in the deck, but we are globally unique in our solution to destroy a needle, and the manner in which we do it means that we heat the needle to 1300 degrees, and as it reaches a molten point, we swash it into a ball. That ball is virus and bacteria free, and we are now in an engagement process with NHS England to take it through a sustainability programme, which will be taking it from what is effectively a process at the moment where it's a single-use plastic that is used at one point with obviously a stainless steel needle, and then it's thrown straight into a large plastic container, which is the sharps bin, of course, and then all of those items are ultimately incinerated. We're working through a strategy directly with NHS to create a sustainability programme which has 3 incremental steps, which I'm very happy to talk further about, but ultimately entertains the idea, after the appropriate level of rigour and pilot study, that there may be the opportunity to create a recyclable solution, but it all principles around the end condition that we're able to generate with our hardware solution, the Needle Smart Professional. So I mentioned earlier about supply chain. Taking that one step further, we have a system which is essentially, as a software tool, clinical workflows. So you may have a clinical workflow for a vaccination, you may have a clinical workflow for a controlled drug, for example. But in every event, we can then link to that the idea of what is required for it. So it may be a syringe, a needle, a vial of vaccine, a pair of gloves, an apron, a mask, and so on and so forth. We create the concept of coupons within our software, and then we link that to every event. So as the needle is destroyed, our supply chain component or bolt-on is then gathering that just-in-time supply information. So what we're trying to bring forward, and I think COVID's probably demonstrated this really well to the world, is that the medical world has now kind of come colliding into the world of mass market process flow and supply chain and consumable stock and everything that goes with that at the speed of light. What we have around us here is the ability to gather the real-time stock usage, enabling accurate stock control, meaning that there's not too much on the shelves, not too much money sat on the shelves, and equally not too much waste being generated.
Mike, apologies for butting in. I think we have about 1 minute left. So
this is literally, I'm going to wrap through. This product slide is, I'll talk very quickly. We have 3 products. The Pro, that product I'll talk about more 1 second. The handheld device and the phlebotomy, they are both still in development. So a bit about our professional product. Our product is in market now, we have FDA approval, we have a CE mark on it, it's fully production ready, and it's fully tooled up, and we do have some international distribution in place. I will say very clearly, this is the non-smart technology, the non-digital technology, but we are seeing an increased interest now as we've kind of got through what you might call the meat of the pandemic. This slide shows you what this product's capable of, and I'd be very happy to talk more about it. And I think that should be the end of the presentation.
Great, thank you. Okay, there we go. That's
you got me?
Yep. Yeah, we've got.
Okay, brilliant.
Okay, so I think we have literally 1 minute for questions. Anybody want to lead off? Okay, so I think yes, Chris.
Cool. Just a bit more about your traction. You said you've launched your own market, and do you want to just tell us about the response that you've had so far?
Yeah, so I think internationally we've got some units going across distribution territories, Middle East markets, a couple of Eastern European territories, and 2 Far East territories. I think we launched just pre-pandemic. The actual hardware itself, traction was slow because we are a disruptive technology. We are a new process, and what we've noticed as we've started to come out the other side of it is we've got a lot of conversations now that once we've got the FDA, or now we have FDA approval, those conversations are accelerating. So our turnover per month is minimal. You know, it's a few $1,000s a month at the moment, but equally we're in a government-led program with NHS, and also the same in the US. We're working with the VA across 3 states, which it looks like we're going to get something on the COVID relief bill to go across Washington, Texas, and Pennsylvania.
One final question. Yes, Caroline.
Yeah, quickly. Hi, thank you for the presentation. I was just wondering how much you were raising and to do what?
So everything we do now is really about commercialization. The business itself needs to become a software business. Inherently, it was historically more product focused. We're raising around about 7 million. And of that 7 million, we're looking to deploy a full business development team across the states. I should highlight it's a business to business model. We're not looking to sell direct, but it's really to coordinate that effort. We need to strengthen our IP base. We've got some large IP bills going to come our way in the not too distant future around the digitization elements. We have the IP that says if you destroy a needle and you transmit data, you've infringed our patent. And then beyond that, we want to bring through the appropriate accreditations for the business around software and data control. So we could control this data. At the moment, we don't. We're not qualified to do, and we're not big enough to do. But the direct data that we gather in real time has clearly a huge upmarket value downstream.
Thank you, Cliff. I'm just conscious we have to keep moving, so unfortunately we'll have to leave it there and move on to the next presentee, which is Life.
Okay, no problems. Well, it was lovely to meet you guys, and please feel free to just reach out on email.
Thank you very much for your time, Cliff.
Let me turn my share screen.
Okay, I think we're waiting for the next presenter to come in.
There. My name is Ed. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I'm one of the co-founders of Life. So we are a team of doctors and health tech experts changing the way individuals approach their healthy life and live their healthy lives. And we're doing this and have done this by creating the very first healthy social media platform in the world. First, let's go into a bit of background. Okay, so for whatever reason in the UK and the rest of the world, we approach health from a negative health paradigm viewpoint. What that means is we wait for something to go wrong and then we treat it. A much better way of approaching our health is to focus on a wellness paradigm, making sure our health is in a positive, healthy state. This produces better outcomes and is also a lot cheaper. So what current solutions are there at the moment on the market? Well, there are apps which you can download. They're very unidimensional, but there are plenty that you can download. So say if you want to book a healthy fitness class, or if you want to do some healthy things in your home space, you know, you can download MindBody, you can download Peloton, you can track your well-being through apps like Evergreen or track your calories. If you want to engage with your local healthy brands around you, you can go onto Instagram, or GlowFox is another company where you can watch healthy content. Frankly, there's so many different apps that you need to download to live a healthy lifestyle. Another one there, Deliveroo, if you want some healthy food. There's so many that you need to download. It's frankly exhausting. The average app user downloads 0 apps per month. You know, a much better solution is to actually have just the one app that collates all of this into a single ecosystem, which is what we've done with Life. It's a complete wellness ecosystem, and we're going to go through some of the features within the platform today. If you imagine it's taking the healthy high street, the physical healthy high street, and putting it on a digital platform. You can discover everything around you. It's highly geolocated. You can book your favorite classes online. You can book health and well-being products. You can buy the products. You can see what services there are around you. You can track your well-being. It's a full healthy ecosystem that exists within your location, which currently does not exist on the market.
Ed, I think we've lost your presentation again, but I would suggest we keep going rather than having to haul it back up again.
Okay, can you see it now?
No.
Okay, that's not ideal. Okay, sure, I'll continue for now. Essentially, we've taken three key trends over the past 100 years or so that has distilled our ethos into the app. So if you look back to the 1920s, this trend has been going on for the past 100 years or so, around convenience. You know, we lead really busy lives, and you know, we need a solution which is quick and easy for us. So we've done that through Life. We give you highly personalized content. We've created algorithms within the platform which allow people and push them, you know, the content which they need to see. Living a healthy lifestyle is not easy, and a lot of people know roughly what to do. They know they might need to exercise, they might need to eat well, but beyond that, what do you do? Through the algorithms within the app, we push you that extra content. You also need to feel part of a community, and that's why we've built in these social features and created that ecosystem in which to feel part of the tribe. Now, if you take your corporate hats and put them on, we have the healthy partners who contribute to this ecosystem. One of the examples that you would see on screen right now is Yoga Sita. They are a yoga studio in Liverpool, and they have a number of issues as a business. You know, they want to engage their healthy audience. They want to take their target market and push them their products, their services, their yoga classes. They want to, you know, optimize their marketing efforts and give them give their healthy community the option to book classes, etc. And we do that for Yoga Sita without the need for them going to 4, 5, 6 different platforms. Yoga Sita actually spend £350 a month on all of these platforms combined, which is very onerous on the lady Lucita. And what we did was we presented Life in front of her and gave her a single resource that she could use and solve all of the issues. It's also considerably cheaper than our current solution base. She absolutely loves Life and what we have to offer. Our feedback has been really, really overwhelming thus far, and that is why we have over 15,000 users waiting to use the app. Our scaling plan is exactly what we've done in Liverpool so far. There are 8 key areas of the platform that users must engage with and to live a healthy lifestyle, and we handpick our retailers within those areas. The market is vast. The wellness market last year was worth over 13 billion, and on average, it's growing around 19% year on year. Our biggest competitor at the moment is a company called Glowfox. They currently have a 0.1% share in the market, and last year they turned over 18.4 million. Since their conception in 2014, they've raised almost 33 million in funds. Now, our revenue streams you would see on screen, unfortunately, technical difficulties, but it largely sits around subscriptions for the retailers and for users if they want to get full access to the app. We have further revenue streams in data collection. Now, traction to date, we've had a £100,000 grant from the Liverpool City Council, so we have retained all of the equity within the business, and we're recently recognised as an LCR Tech Climber this year. The journey to date, the product roadmap that we've created, we've adhered to all of our milestones up to May 21, and as a team, we are equipped to carry on delivering all of the tasks within that roadmap. As I said earlier, we're a team of doctors, and our advisors actually sit on boards on a national and European level to help direct further health innovations across Europe. And our CTO has numerous experience creating apps and platforms for global brands such as IBM. So we are now looking for an investment of £150,000 of SEIS to achieve a solid product market fit.
After that, we will be raising further funds to scale across the nation. So let me leave a quote with you. Unfortunately, you can't see it, but what LinkedIn is to your profession is what life is to your health. I'd enjoy the opportunity now to take any questions, and thanks for today, and apologies about the difficulties that we've had.
Thanks, Ed. We'll open up very quickly for some questions from the panel. Yes, Ala.
Hi, thank you so much for that pitch, and well done for not letting it phase you. My big question is, around defensibility. How do you differentiate yourself from the competition? Do you have a strategic partnership? Are these partnerships exclusive to your app only?
Yeah, of course. It's something that we've considered in great depth. At the moment, we're targeting the corporate well-being market. Companies have vast CSR budgets. They actually have to spend 2% now. When their average net income's over a certain amount, they have to spend 2% within their CSR budget on well-being. And lots of that budget is going unspent, so they just roll over year to year. So we're tapping into that, and we've signed memorandums of understanding with these big corporate bodies to ensure that the working relationship that we have together is exclusive. And with that, we give them back a lot of value and an exclusive deal specific to their needs. Any quick notable ones you could tell us about? Within Liverpool, so we are only Liverpool based for now. I might be told off for saying this. I'll tell you one, because I can definitely tell you one. Professional Liverpool. I can't tell you about the others yet, but that's one I can tell you.
Thank you. Yes, one final question from Nathan.
Hi. How personalized does it go? Does it connect into their health medical records and push them actual health kind of activities that they'll need on that basis?
So not yet. The need for that it's not proven entirely. That's still focusing on the negative health paradigm. I think if we're accessing people's health records, it might be the case that, say, they've got type 2 diabetes or they have rheumatoid arthritis. If we're pushing them activities based on that, we're still focusing on this. Well, I have a problem and now we must fix it. Whereas what we're doing is we're looking at how people live and seeing what things they're doing, and then if they're not completing, if you have a look at our logo, it's an octagon. So there's actually 8 key areas that were mentioned there that you must do to live a healthy lifestyle. And we might see that they're doing 2 of the 8. We therefore would push them ones within the other 6 areas. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Great, thank you. Just given time constraints, unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. But thank you very much, Ed, for that. We're now going to invite the last presentee of this slot, Jukes, to come in to present their pitch.
Hi, afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon, Nikolai.
Okay, let's check that you can see my screen, okay? And you can hear me.
We can hear you, we can see you, but it doesn't look like you've started sharing your screen yet.
Okay.
Yep, that looks promising. Cool. If you just want to, there we go, that's perfect.
Okay, hello, my name is Nikolai Thompson, and thank you for having me. Jukes is a hardware company with a mission to empower all people to participate in sports for mental and physical well-being, then go on to do extraordinary things. Jukes needs to be in your portfolio if you believe in our mission and are looking for a high-impact investment with a solid return in this growing wearable space. So what do we do? This is Lincoln. He is deaf, and he has been a keen swimmer for 2 years. In October 2019, his club bought a single headset so Lincoln can hear the coach's instruction at the same time as everyone else. The first time he did, his mother was on poolside and in tears. This is possible because we have waterproofed bone conduction speakers, and using radio, we can transmit audio up to 750 meters away. To date, we are focused on the swimming market and can be found everywhere from COVID-19 PTSD recovery programs to a European national team training with Jukes for the Tokyo Olympic Games. There are many problems, but this is the one Jukes solves for. We know a lack of real-time. Sorry, I'm just going to go back one slide because I missed it. I am sure this audience does not need to be told obesity is up and mental health and activity is down. But this is where Jukes connects with my personal passion to see our youth stay in sports, because we cannot be happy with 15% of girls in England active at age 18. By the time my 8-week-old boy is 30, he has a 50% chance of being obese. I was a swimmer who dropped out at 13. I am obese today, but I want to do something to prevent my son from the same. There are many problems, but this is the one Jukes solves for. We know a lack of real-time communication means fewer coaching minutes each session, resulting in slower improvement and eventually premature dropouts because you're not inspired and you're not winning. The loss of community and belonging when one drops out is often not considered until much later. So we put coaches and supporters in radio contact with athletes on land or in water to give them the encouragement, technical and strategic guidance they need to achieve their goals and do extraordinary things. This is the headset we sourced from China and has got us this far. The specs are no longer innovative, but we are helping coaches and athletes get closer. So from amateur clubs in New Zealand that rave on us on Instagram, to Dr. Gary Palmer, who is now using Jukes to increase the fitness of international athletes from triathlon through to football. We've done amazing things with clubs around the world, and we've just added our 14th country that we've shipped to. The bulk of our business is in the UK, which was recently given a boost with a commercial deal signed with the Swim Teachers Association, allowing us to offer our tech exclusively to their 12,500 members and 56 member countries around the world, including massive sports markets in the US, Australia, and China. But this is our future. For Lincoln and tens of millions of athletes between 8 and 80, an innovative headset for multidiscipline sports, above and below the water with IoT connectivity, lightweight sensors, and a breakthrough adjustable fitting for all heads in all sports. This is what your investment would bring to life and be sold to the $16 billion sports coaching market that sits inside the hugely exciting $450 billion sports market that is full of potential acquirers. I am also very proud to announce that as of 1 p.m. today, Jukes has been accepted to Loughborough University's Advanced Technology and Innovation Centre, giving us access to their vast research and sports resources, and ironically, EU funding to bring manufacturing back to this continent. The idea of real-time communication in a sports coaching environment is actually quite novel, and 100% of our 1,200 sales are from word-of-mouth recommendations and customers posting on social media. Unlike our most interesting competitor, Milo, who have spent 3 years designing their walkie-talkie replacement and yet to release a product, or Fennis and Zygo, who designed a product first and now trying to sell it, you are investing in a team that have learned a lot in the past 3 years about what a great sports training headset needs to be to break out beyond a single sport with eyes on the prize, football. Today, we have a simple business model of payment upfront. However, we've just started trialing an option to pay 40% upfront and 60% of the balance over 12 months for purchases over £5,000. This has been hugely promising, and we've seen original order values double since. My team is small but effective, and for those interested in getting to know us, we look forward to meeting you when restrictions allow. Here, I want to highlight the resiliency this business has shown, considering sales during 3 UK lockdowns went to almost zero. We have continued to grow with the numbers in the grey box, split by quarter. Our gross margin is an average of 41% and operating margin is 26%. Forecasts for the next 2 years will be discussed with interested investors. We are asking today for £275,000, offering a 20% discount on a convertible note, which will be transacted through Seed Legals. We are also submitting a second bid for up to $225K from Innovate UK to further develop software-defined radio. After all, I come from telecommunications, and software-defined networking revolutionized that industry. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Nikolai. If you could perhaps just stop sharing so we can see the panel, that'll be helpful. There we go.
Yep.
Great. Thank you. So, as usual, I'll open it up to members of the panel for 2 questions.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, Caroline.
Hi. Thank you. Very interesting. I had a question concerning your go-to-market strategy and your distribution model that you want to implement in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, thank you, Caroline. At the moment, we sell exclusively through our website, the Shopify site. However, we are just about to sign a deal with our first dealer in the Netherlands. They initially were a customer and they asked to become a dealer for the region. That is a model that we will roll out. So we will stock in dealers around the world. There are currently 4 early stage inquiries in South America, in the US, and in Australia, as well as the Dutch inquiry that are happening now. So that's how I envisage that rolling out.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yes, Dan.
Hi there, good presentation. Yeah, interesting. Dan from CMS Ventures here. I was wondering what happens. So you launch your next iteration of device, which looks very impressive, good competitor analysis. What's next? So what does Jukes do next in order to not stagnate in the market and keep up with innovations? Would you release a range of peripheral items, or what's your plan there?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So at the moment, the redevelopment of the headset will actually be for 2 headsets. So there's going to be a headset which is pitched more as a pro version, which is going to have higher specs. It will have a higher ticket. And then there's going to be a lower headset. So that sort of does split the market in 2. And quite often there are certain sports which are going to follow one headset and certain sports that are going to follow another. There are going to be some accessories. So for instance, for the football market, we have designed this headset that you saw to fit the headband, because we know it's quite important that it stays in place. We have explored creating a small piece of software to allow bookings to take place for the coaching network around the world. It is actually, whilst it's a big market, quite often transactions take place through email and bank account details get passed across. That's something which I am considering, and we've done a whole load of research, and it's not something I would execute on right now. The thing that we are excited about, though, is athleisure, which is a more than $300 billion industry. We know it's large, but our story and where we started, and the reason why I've stayed in this business, is the transformation of quite a few people's lives, and it's our mission that people are connecting with, and it's why they're recommending the product. So yes, they have confidence in the product, even though it's not that innovative as I showed, but it's more about our why. And so we have just started a range of clothing, which will develop slowly and carefully for people to wear our mission. There's potentially a large industry to support with clothing in the athleisure market. For instance, in swimming alone, it's a $31 billion industry that people spend on the accessories. It's the costumes, it's the bags, it's clothing, etc. But there's no brand in that amount of money that looks exclusively at land training, which has become a really big part of swimming. So swimmers now are multidiscipline specialists. When I trained and I swam and I was a butterfly specialist, we never did land training. Now, the brands that exist in this water-based market, especially for swimming, the Speedos, the Arenas of the world, they've been around a while, and I certainly have half an eye on disrupting that.
That's great, thank you, and great story to start off with on the presentation as well.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Nikolai. I think that will then bring to an end the first 5 presentations. So I will pause there for Peria and Giacomo to pick up